Hello, everybody, to today's episode of Is it possible to have ease with parenting? I'm going to have a conversation today with Michelle Noble, which is the owner and the creator of the Calmer Mom podcast and the Calmer Mom sessions and different stuff you're putting out there to have ease with parenting, I believe. Right, Michelle?
Yes, Ricardo, thank you so much for getting together with me this morning. And I know perhaps your listeners know about what you do, but since we literally met about 5 minutes ago, I'd be delighted if you would also talk a bit about what you do in our conversation. But yeah, I created the Calmer Mom Project about a year or so after my youngest daughter was born, after spending about a year playing with the tools of access consciousness and just seeing how much ease that created in parenting for me compared to how it had been before I had those tools. And I saw the possibilities in bringing those tools out to mamas more and earlier and sooner. And I end up, of course, what's funny is then, as soon as you put out to a bunch of creative people that you're the Calmer Mom Project, all the dads want in. So I have quite a few clients who are actually dads as well. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, for sure. I mean, there's a new breed of dads that they are like super involved in everything, like learning also with the moms. And like today I was just having like a physiotherapy session, like a neurodevelopment, or like a stimulation with my daughter that she's here right now. So say hi, Reggie. So right now I have the luxury and the pleasure to be with her because her mom is working and my work lets me be here at home with her. So I am like taking care of her and taking care of my business as good as I can, but for sure I'm having fun with both. So I think that this approach that you are giving to people in order to have more ease with whatever you are going through, it doesn't matter, because I see that you go also like conception, pregnancy, and also like already childhood.
And I think what I see, what the common theme I see with basically everybody who comes to work with me, regardless of where they are, and even sometimes people who have no plans or desires to have children, or their children are already having children. But the common thread is that people have already decided when they reach out to me that they're getting it wrong, and they're hoping that I will help them to get it right. And what I see is that really takes us out of being present with our kids and with ourselves. So we have this whole bundle of things that we'd like to teach our children, but we're so busy trying to get it right, and right because we don't want to hurt them, or we don't want to get it wrong, or whatever. It's like that pressure we put on ourselves actually ends up teaching them the reverse of what we'd really like to. Is we show them that they need to get it right, even as we're telling them that it's okay to make mistakes. We teach them to be hard on themselves, even as we're saying, hey, give yourself a break, or it's okay. It's like we're actually showing them something entirely different. And clearly, like with having your daughter here, they are so tuned in energetically that if we're saying words out of our mouth, like it's okay, it's fine to make mistakes, except if you're me, and then it shows that you're a screw up and you're desperately afraid people will figure that out about you, then it's like you're actually not. That's the louder message. So, not to mention that it's really not very much fun. It's not fun for you to think that way or function from that. So
exactly. I see that I see that every day with her, because as soon as I get into the contraction of getting it right and avoiding it, doing it wrong, and something bad can happen, and then she starts to like be uncomfortable and like I don't. And as soon as I relax and I just play and just with whatever we are doing, if we are just like in a playful approach, she's like, okay, let's do it. So I mean, this is my first child, and it's been a really a huge adventure already in all different ways. It's been only a year, and she's been like the greatest awareness and consciousness teacher and facilitator for us. So for sure, she is always showing us where we can like, hey, mom, dad, you can choose different, and like being able to receive that from her and to see that from her, and that she's showing us something all the time, and like, oh my God, like how little is she since months of living, and she was already like teaching us a lot of things about like just you can be different, you can change, you can choose, you have choice. So
can I ask a question about that, Ricardo?
yes.
So you and I mean, I get that what we do a lot of, and I don't know how long you've been playing in Access Consciousness, but that we're pretty used to the idea of tapping into the energy of what's being communicated, or like even connecting energetically with our kids. But I'm wondering, like, as you're talking about that, if there was someone listening who that was not something they were used to, can you give like a story or something about a time when Regina showed you something that, you know, that was asking to change, and how you were aware that's what she was showing you?
And yes, for example, when Blanca, I mean, this is one of the first ones. Just give me a second, please.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, like she doesn't speak, and she's been like doing she wants something, she wants something, she wants something right now, right? And I was like giving her anything, like the thing that she has right now here in front, his yogurt or whatever, but she was without talking, letting me know what I really want is a banana. So and now she's super happy. And now she says, you got me. Thank you.
Hi. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we are trying to get it so cognitively, so like to understand it and to like, why don't you just let me know? Like I'm letting you know, but yes, but I don't get it. Yes, but are you not getting it, or the getting it is below that trying it to get it right? So what happened with the example I wanted to tell you is that Blanca was pregnant, and she was like, it was a gift for her pregnancy, like where she could like receive, like be more comfortable and receive more her body, like not being in a constant endless judgment of her body, and like seeing and acknowledging like, wow, the gift that her body is. And it was like awesome. But there were some times where she was going into the dark hole of judgment, and she was like, no, but this, no, my body, I'm doing this wrong, I am whatever. And when she started doing that, Reggie in the belly was kicking her, but like in a really particular way, like saying, mom, mom, mom. And she was like, oh, what the fuck, what's happening? And she's like, oh my God, she's telling me to stop. So like these little details, like where the communication, it's not really like linear or not really verbal, happen all the time.
That is super cool. There's so much in that story that is amazing. I mean, from the part where you were talking about, I'm sorry, what, Blanca?
Yes.
Yeah, Blanca's willingness to have a different point of view with her body during her pregnancy, because that's a huge issue for people as well, like just judging their bodies for changing. So like that starting place, and in her case, she was able to like get that message that Reggie was like, no, that's not okay. You know, that's not working for me, mom. And then I was actually talking with a woman yesterday, I guess it was only yesterday or the day before, who she has 3 kids. The oldest is 6 and the youngest is just about a year. And the one who's a year has basically over the last couple of weeks just stopped sleeping through the night, has started waking up every few hours, wanting to nurse. And it's just, you can tell she's exhausted. And then, which is why she reached out to me, because she's kind of hitting a wall, and she's even noticing physical symptoms in her body, like, you know, as if her body's getting sick. And at the same time as she's got these 3 young children, she's working, she's in school, she's trying to finish her degree. Her husband is working long hours because he just got a promotion, and there's this and there's this and there's this. And what I noticed as she was talking is just how much she's trying to just take care of everyone at once. And clearly her body is screaming at her, this is not working. And I even joked with her, I said, so your body is like your 4th kid, only it's the one you treat really shitty. And she laughed, right? But then clearly also what became clear as she was talking is her 1-year-old is really trying. It's the same thing as you were just describing, only now her 1-year-old is like out, like in the world, making more of a demand with her voice. It's like she is kicking her literally by waking her up over and over, saying, Mom, this has to change. This is not, you know, this is not the life that I came here to assist you in creating. So, and you know, and we got to that in the conversation, that I think she's going to have some time with her husband and look at what she's choosing to see what else is possible. But how, you know, how rare, you know, we haven't really been taught to listen to our children in that way. Like they'd really like to assist us in creating something amazing for our lives and their lives. We're kind of taught that as the grown-ups, we're supposed to know everything and figure it out and, you know, again, get it right. So I just love that story. I think it's really beautiful. Your story is really a beautiful invitation to listen and maybe even ask questions of our kids, even if we know that they can't say in words yet, you know, in their out loud voices.
Exactly. I mean, that example of the child or the baby waking up during the night and like giving so much information about what's happening, like they are being really aware and like really showing you something they know, and like access to that information and to like really like get to receive from them. It opens a whole different new world, and it can be with ease if you have like the tools, the questions, and like the sometimes also the guidance, right? Sometimes someone who like tells you, okay, let's ask questions together and let's see what's happening and what do you know, right? Like that's the whole point of this, like to empower you to know that you can also access to your knowing, and that your baby also knows, and that you together could like be a gift to each other just by being, and by like stop like getting into the box of this is wrong, this is something that it's not working, this has to change. Yes, for sure. But what's the gift underneath all of that, right? If you don't judge that whole situation, you can get the contribution of that situation.
Yeah, and this is really new territory for most people. I know when as I said, I started getting involved in Access when I actually went to my first Access class the day before my youngest daughter was born, and so that gave me a whole new framework on motherhood. But up until that point, there was so much in that was just brand new. Like I didn't know how to trust myself. Like I didn't know how to get the information to get out of trying to figure it out with my mind based on past experiences or what other people were saying that I should be choosing, or the books I'd read, or what my sister said it was like for her. Like all my information was coming from looking at things outside of myself. And I just didn't know really how to do anything different than that. So it wasn't, like you said, sometimes you need someone outside of yourself with a little different perspective, not to tell you how to do it, but to actually, like you said, ask questions to say, hey, if you look at this from a different angle, what can you see? If you weren't trying to get this right, what other question could you ask? Or what information is there? Like, listen to your baby, ask a question, get curious. That's what I say probably more than anything. If you were curious about this, if you just let yourself get curious about whatever this is, and then be quiet and kind of like, it's kind of like when you talk to someone and you ask them a question and then you don't wait for the answer. Like it kind of helps if you go, what is this? And then shut up for a few minutes to see if you can get the information. Instead of, what is this? Oh, it must be this. It must be that. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. It's like, instead it's like, okay, ask the question and take a minute and listen. Whether that's asking a question of your children or your body or the universe or your own awareness. Yeah. And it does help, if this is new territory, to have someone else to guide you with that, who, like, you and I have had more experience with practicing doing that. And we still, I go into I kind of said, alluded to you this morning. Like I woke up this morning and it was like my entire to-do list for 20 years descended on my brain instantaneously, 5 a.m. and I'm going like, blah, and I get that that's not useful. So thank God I have some practice in going a different direction, but it can be intense. And it really helps to have someone say, okay, take a minute, ask some different things, look at things a different way.
Yes, for sure. Yes, I love it. Like just being able to ask a question without like being like looking for the answer, and even for the right answer, like just ask a question with that curiosity, with that let it go and relax, can create a different space where you can like suddenly like boom, something pops into your awareness and you say, oh wow, now I see it. I will see it more clearly. Now I see a different possibility. Now I see that I've been creating this somehow, that I've been like whatever, like, like that's that willingness to, like, because we are just so used to ask questions and to immediately go and try to find the answer. And if you don't look for the answer when you ask one of these access consciousness questions, your life will get so much easier. And you maybe sometimes you wouldn't even like understand how or why, but you will have more ease in what's happening. And suddenly like you will start to be in this state of like, okay, I can flow through my life instead of like work really hard through my life.
Yeah. The other thing I've found super valuable, and I'm really grateful for all the different access facilitators that I work with and watch their, tap into their stuff, is that then you can actually see, like, you can see how other people are creating things that might be different than how you thought you had to do it. Just, and I don't know if that makes any, if that's very clear, but we tend to usually have learned our patterns from the people around us, like our, you know, our families. And then for some, you know, there's this thing where we collect friends that function in the same way, more or less than we do, more or less that we do. You know, the things we pick up that are commonly like the repeated info, like on, you know, how many Facebook memes have you seen that talk about how exhausting motherhood is, or, you know, fatherhood is, or, you know, the trend of like wine o'clock, you know, like you're gonna have to finish your day with a bottle of wine and maybe you can start finishing it at 1 p.m. or, you know, early as possible to get through. And so what that does is it tells us a story over and over again that a normal experience of parenthood is getting through, like surviving your days. You probably are surrounded by people who more or less are functioning from surviving their days. So it was spectacular for me. One of the first facilitators I ever took classes with was Heather Nichols, and she has now one of her, you know, her boys at the time were really young, and so it was such a gift to me to see this single mother of young boys who was taking a totally different approach and not, you know, being willing to be intense with them when it was required and just have a different space. And then, you know, that invited me to go like, maybe I have different choices here. Maybe when I get intense with my kids, that isn't a sign that I'm getting it wrong. And I should be able to be like all mellow and, you know, floating on a cloud all the time if I was a good mom, because she's obviously a good mom. And so, yeah, just that piece of like looking to people who function from a totally different space. And if that, you know, access is full of people who are choosing a different space, but it doesn't have to be that too, you know, like look around and see who you know that doesn't seem to have the same struggles, and start to get curious about, not because you're trying to be like them, but just be like, okay, I wonder how they approach this, that I could kind of add to my toolkit.
Exactly. Yes, for sure. I mean, I'm always like something that happened for me during this year of parenting is that I was like convinced of following my knowing, right? And following asking questions and like access to what I know, and to know that I will know what to do. Like if I'm just being like present with what's happening and just being in a question, like I'll be able to handle it, right? Until I couldn't, and I was not able to handle it, right, by myself. So, but then asking questions, what or who can I add to have ease with this, right? So I found out like really like following your knowing and trusting that you know. Sometimes it's also considering that you don't need to do it by yourself. You don't need to do it alone. That trusting your knowing is not staying there without doing anything. Is do the question and then see what possibilities can show up for you. And for me, it was like really like adding the persons or the things in my life that suddenly they make a click on what I was looking for, and then wow, something different is possible. I can already like go to the next stage of this situation. For example, what happened to me is that you know, I was telling you that I was doing this exercise session with my daughter, because she had like she had to strengthen her legs, right? She was not being able to crawl or to stand up and so on. So we found that there are like many different people that are experts in playing with kids while exercising them, that are like being a huge contribution for us. And we got to this just because we were willing to ask, and we were really willing to receive a different approach to life, and then see, okay, what are they proposing? So what is this about? Let me try it. Let me let it on for a moment. Let me use it. Let me have it in my life, and let's see what will this create. And if it's helping, awesome, have it and use it and enjoy it. And if not, choose again, and you will have more awareness, and then next time you will find something else, and then you have infinite choice, and you will be discovering possibilities that they were not there before if you were not willing to try something different.
I love that. And it made me, what I thought about when you were talking earlier about about play, like actually playing with everything, like playing with your daughter, playing I think you even said playing with your business. You said that you were at home with her and with your business having fun. And that didn't sound like that, like, I was like, is there any irony in that? Did it seem like, oh, this is fun? No, and it wasn't that at all. It was more like, no, this is actually fun. Like, maybe there's a fun to this, a play to this. And when I was talking earlier about like looking to people who are willing to have a different experience or energy than you do, like, hey guys, look at Ricardo. He's a stay-at-home dad building his business. I think you said you just recently moved even, or like, yeah, that would be considered a lot. And yet your energy about it is like, yeah, and it's fun too.
Yes, for sure. Like, this is like one of my programs I do every year. It's called Project Happiness. And it's about like really like getting to see that it doesn't matter the situation you are involved or you are living or you are experiencing at the moment, even in the toughest situations or the whatever challenge or problems your life has, like you can still there choose to be happy and choose to have fun with that, if you are willing to be different and to like not make it like the same relevance, not give it not make it so relevant, and not making it so significant, and not making it so about, oh my God, but making it about, okay, I am here and right now, and this is a challenge right now. So if I like kind of surrender to the situation and I am not trying to get it right, what else is possible with all of this?
And even as you're talking about having Regina work with the therapist, instead of having a point of view like, gosh, we've got to get the right therapist. And if we don't get the right therapist, we will, this will be terrible. Or if we take her to work with the therapist and then it doesn't fix everything, then it's not working and we got it wrong, or the therapist got it wrong, or Regina got it wrong. Like, instead of having this intensity, like if you choose something and it doesn't create what you think it should, then you've made a wrong choice and it's not working, versus what you were speaking to is like, oh, this came into our awareness as we were asking questions. We're going to give it a go and see what happens, and then choose again. And maybe choose again means we continue with this therapist or somebody else, or it's time to do something different, and then be curious about that. It's such a different space. And when, you talked about, is it actually possible to have ease with parenting? that's basically it, is you like choose and get curious and see what that creates. And then you're like, okay, that's what that was. All right. It's like being in a tasting room. You don't drink a little sip of wine and then go like, oh, that was the worst wine. Why did I ever taste it? It's like you sip it and you go like, that was interesting. Maybe not my cup of tea or glass of wine, but I'm going to like clear my palate and try the next one. And what if we created our whole lives with that kind of like curiosity? Wonder what this is going to be. I'd like this. I wonder, that kind of seems like it might go in that direction. Let's head that way and then see what shows up, and then course correct if it's not kind of like, or if it is, or, like without that right and wrong, this, I got to get it right, I just screwed it up, that piece, kind of like where we started of trying to get it all right.
Exactly. Just because it's a result that you were not expecting, and you like it isn't the result that you were like desiring, it doesn't mean that has to be a wrong result. It's just a different one than you were thinking. So what's the gift in this different result that you're not getting? So what's the awareness you get from this? And okay, this is not the wine for me. Let's go for a next one. So I love this. Thank you very much for that.
And, talk about looking to different people at how they create. Look at how our kids create. A child tries to stand up and then they fall on their bottom, and then they try again or do it a different way, or they go on to some different activity. Like, the little kids don't judge that they're making wrong choices. And they don't even like judge that they're making right choices. They just choose something and see what happens. And then they choose something else. Like, look to them. They can teach us a lot about choosing and choosing from curiosity.
Wow. Yes. What would it take for like everybody like who's watching this to like just be willing to say, okay, what if I am curious with this situation in my life right now? What curiosity can you all be right now with anything that is challenging for you? Like, what curiosity can you be and find out what else is possible you have never imagined before?
Yes, please. Yeah. What she said. Right? Right? Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Michelle, for this amazing conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Regina. Thank you. And thank you, Ricardo.
It was a pleasure to be here with you and to share this space. Like I believe like the Calmer Mom project, it's a huge contribution, not only for the moms and dads out there, but also for the world. Like what different reality can we create with all of this, right? And we are already creating it, and how much more can we expand these tools, this awareness, this consciousness for everybody who's willing to go beyond the normal drama of life, and then starting to instead of, as you said, just survive, starting to go and thrive and create a life that it's enjoyable every day, not just sometimes.
Yes. Yes, please. How does it get even better than that?
Well, thank you, Michelle, and hopefully see you next time.
Yes, thank you, Ricardo.
Bye-bye.